With the 2009 WCC Co-Newcomer of the Year out for the season, Broncos head coach Kerry Keating looked to sophomore forward Mark Trasolini and a trio of freshmen, Robert Smith, Raymond Cowles, and Nee Harrison, to carry the load. All right, Kerry, let's start with Kevin. It's a logical place to start. How's Kevin Foster's rehab going?
He's doing well. He's coming along slowly. We obviously want to be cautious with a broken foot. He had 2 pins inserted in his foot, and almost like putting rebar into concrete, so it's strong. But he also was off his foot and off his body, so to speak, for 4 months, and gained a little weight and has to work that off and work himself back into shape. So we're going to be cautious and err on the side of caution from that. But he's really working hard, obviously, in the classroom, working on his stationary ball handling, and obviously he's itching to get back. Our guys are anxious to get him back, and we need him back on the floor. So, glad that he's recovering well, and expect a full recovery by the time September rolls around.
Will it feel like in the fall, like he's a new player when you're adding a big new recruit because you didn't have him for very long?
Well, the biggest bonus we have, Ted, is that we're going to get him back for another year. Right. It's not necessarily that we're going to get him because we've already had him. Now, yeah, have him on the floor, and that'll be a big bonus. We were really starting to gel and play well. We lost him in the Santa Barbara game. We beat a great Santa Barbara team, played the way we really wanted to play, forcing a lot of turnovers, playing at an up-tempo. We were 4-2 coming out of that game, feeling we're headed in the right direction with good games coming into Levy in December. He goes down. Our guys fought back, so now they know they have that. But the good thing about our guys without him is that they didn't use that as an excuse. Yeah, we had a lot of youth and a lot of inexperience with no seniors, a lot of guys going through it for the first time and trying to spell Kevin, if you will. I know Ray and Robert and even sometimes Mike, but mostly Ray and Robert, trying to do what they thought Kevin would do for them at times, maybe hurt him a little bit this year, but that experience will help them when Kevin is back. So the good thing is he gets to be with Ray, Robert, Nee, and Chris for 3 years now. So we gained the year back more than just gained the player, I think, is the more important thing for the long-term success of our program. But no doubt he's going to have an impact being back on the floor because he is one of the best players in the conference.
And you mentioned a group of your freshmen who had an awful, they got thrown into the fire,
yeah.
but that's the good side, right? They played a lot of minutes for you.
Second year in a row we've played our freshman class over 2,500 minutes, which is an inordinate amount for 1 year, let alone back-to-back years. But again, looking at the long-term future and the plan we have set, that would really play a role this year because that experience we're hoping will help us. Those guys had to get thrown in the fire. We had no choice with 9 healthy scholarship bodies. This year we're finally going to get at 13 bodies. We're going to have a lot more competition and a lot more depth in practice. Those guys never took a down off, if you will, playing both sides of the ball and the whole season and in practice and in a limited amount where we're at. But now we feel like we have some depth that'll really help us in practice, and it'll carry over to the games.
And your depth seems like it's more evenly spread between your class years.
No question. We're finally going to have a full senior class. Mike Santos and Ben Dowdle, our 2 scholarship seniors. Nate Mensa, our walk-on senior, done a tremendous job from start to finish. Obviously, Nate and Mike came into the program with us. We inherited Ben. He's done a great job, assimilated himself with our coaching staff, our team, and our program. They know that they have a lot of demands put on them now as seniors, but they also get some flexibility that they've earned having gone through our program. They're more leaders by example than anyone we've ever had because now they know what I expect, what we expect, what our team expects, mostly off the floor, that will carry into the on-the-floor success that we really are looking forward to having, and knowing that now we're, as we like to do, playing for those seniors because everyone's going to be a senior at some point or another in their career.
You talked about that seniors buying in, and that's a big part, right? All coaches want their players to take some ownership in their program. You're looking forward to that this year?
We're looking forward to that from the seniors, but I think we're also looking forward to it from underclassmen too because they've all been recruited and have recruited each other on the premise that we're going to have success. And I think, this conference is tough, and I think everyone top to bottom is doing the same thing, and we're poised to make a big jump with a lot of the changes that this conference has seen in the last 3 years at the top with the coaches, and it's trickled down to the recruiting, the level of play. Obviously now what St. Mary's and Gonzaga were able to do by advancing into the tournament, I think there's a lot of great things on the horizon. We expect to be right in the mix of that because our players want to be that way. There's only so much coaches can do when you get to the point when the 40 minutes has to go out there, and I think that's on the players. So yeah, we're looking for those seniors to provide that from a day-to-day standpoint of taking care of business, but I think what you'll see is the crux of our team being freshmen, sophomores, and Mark Trasolini in the junior class becoming an upperclassman finally.
Well, Trasolini's dominating at both ends of the floor. I mean, if it isn't Nee Harrison, it's Trasolini who's blocking shots. I thought that was a good call because it certainly looked like the ball went off of Blackwell. He touched it last, the referee right on the play. And you like the reaction by Mark Trasolini. What I like about Mark's game is once he receives the ball, he is dynamite inside. He's a guy that doesn't miss.
get ready for a lot of success here coming up.
And you've been kind of running that flag out there with the schedule. You're taking on 3 Pac-10 teams this year.
Yeah, we want to expand the schedule. It's a challenge, you know. Obviously, being at a place without a lot of football money to support that, and you know, we understand the challenges in scheduling. We try to work on it every day. Our assistant coach, Dustin Kearns, myself, work on the schedule every single day. It's one thing that we always do to try to improve upon, to get it done ahead of time, but also be in a position we can take advantage of it. We're going to play 3 Pac-10 teams on our schedule next year. We'll be in Las Vegas at the Orleans Arena for a multi-team event in the Las Vegas Invitational with Kansas and Arizona and Ohio. We'll play Arizona, obviously, as one of those games we know for sure. Washington State will come into Levy, and we're going to go down to Galen Center and play USC. So taking advantage of the region we're in and playing in the Pac-10 is a good thing to do. And obviously, if we're able to show well and if we're lucky enough to win those games, it'll definitely carry over when we get into the real tough part of the schedule, which is our own conference.